everyone, this is Tracy from WeCraft at Home. Thank you for joining me. So today's card is another version of the flip flap, but more like a flip and see card. So as you saw in the photos, you open it up and there's a message, or you can do another picture, whatever you want, hidden behind. So this is the mechanism and everything you're going to need. I'm going to go through it all with you and show you how to do it. So these extra strips are because I just want to get through this before I forget to. So when you put the mechanism in and put the card on, it kind of sits around there and leaves a gap here. So I've put strips there in case you want to put borders on there, just to take up a bit of space, like I did with the Christmas card, and I'll add them into the file in case you want them. So that one's 1 inch and the smaller one is 1/2 inch. So the first things first, let's get all this out of the way, and then I can show you how it's done. So actually, I don't think I need to show you this. Okay, so this is me just showing you, because I'm doing it on a 6x6 card. Most cards come at 5 3/4 because the envelope is 6x6. If you're buying shop bought, I've done this at the same 5 3/4 by 11.5. Honestly, because you can't fit a 6x12 to cut. If you want to do it just on your trimmers, then you could just cut a 6x12 in half and score at 6. But this is 5 3/4 by 11.5 with a score line down at the 5 3/4. And then you want 2 squares. So one at 5.5. That's going to be mat 1. And then this one is 5 1/4. And I'm going to show you how I've done that. So that's a square and a rectangle. We'll bring them both down here. Actually, we'll get this out the way now I've shown you. So the square, like I said, you want to make sure maintain aspect ratio is ticked, and you want it at 5 1/4. And this one, you want 0.25, which is 1/4 inch, by 2.5. Get them both together and align them centrally and through the middle. And then subtract, so that you have got the hole in the middle. See, I click on it, nothing shows up. And that is where you get that. So that's very simple. That's that one, as you can see. So then the next thing to do is the actual mechanism part. So to do that, I'm just going to get everything out the way. You want a rectangle again. Untick maintain aspect ratio. Now the width of it you want at 6, and the height you want at 2.4. because you want it just under, if I bring this over, you want it to be able to just slip in without catching. So you can see just under the 2.5 that the slot is. Okay, so now we're going to make sure that it's on 0 0. And you'd need 2 score lines, one at 2 inches . Check your X's for this. Mine's gone over a little bit. And then change it to a score line. And then the next one is just 2.5. We only want 1/2 inch difference. Again, I've gone over a bit. So check that your X is on 2.5 and change that to a score line. That's it. That is your mechanism. So we have the mechanism. These are the toppers. So this is the outside topper, and then you need a smaller one for the inside. So for the outside, I've done a rectangle that is 3 by 4 inches, and that will go on like that. And then under it, you've got this one, which is 2 1/4 by 3 1/4, and that's going to stick underneath to the mechanism. Well, believe it or not, that is all the bits you're going to need. So I'm going to do a man's version this time. I did practice with a Christmas version, and I did make a couple of mistakes, so I can work out better on that. Oh, there is one other thing actually. So the pull tab. Now, originally I'd done a circle. I'm just going to get all the bits. But there are so many different things. When I started looking, there were so many different ways that you could have done something. I'm just going to pick a few. So, this could... I'm not going to do it properly, but this could go on the end of there as a pull tab. This, if you turn it 90 degrees, okay, let's do it down to size 2.4, same as that, and that would also work as a pull tab. This one, which is the one I like, one I'm going to use, because that would attach, and you can do it as a pull tab as well. It's like a little arrow. You could do a fancy circle. That just nice fluted circle, or just a normal circle, but I'd done it a lot smaller on my original one, and just attached it to the back of it halfway like that, so with the word pull on there. Yeah, there's lots of different ones, but what I'm going to do differently, I don't know why I didn't think of this before, but I am going to do it as one rather than sticking it together. So we need to align it through the middle. Like I said, I want to use this one, so I'm going to weld, and that's one whole one. Then you could put the word pull on now if you want, but as you know, I've got a stamp set that has got all different pulls and things on it, and I am going to use that. So I think that's everything. You could use any shapes you like, but that is the one that I like, so I'm going to use. Also, with the borders, don't forget, on canvas you've got all these as well that you could use. Take this one. That looks like it would be perfect. Let's just move it around 90 degrees. Use that one instead, just to give it something different. And there's so many that, you forget the stuff on here that's readily available to use. I actually like the torn strips as well, which is this purple one here. Let's get on with it then. I will see you over at the craft table. Okay, so I am over at the craft table. I've cut all my bits out. First things first, so this is the mechanism that's going to slot through. But what I've done, because I've noticed with my other one, I'm just going to, in Canvas Workspace, I subtracted this bit so that I could just cut this out and stick it on top just to reinforce it. I'll just do that now. So it's just before the score line, so that it doesn't interfere with the actual folding part. And the stamps, as I've said before, I use Made to Surprise, and it's just all different fonts and all different words that you use on kinetic cards, as well as arrows. So I used this arrow and this pull. Okay, so now I've done that, I'll show you why. So this is my practice one. I did make a few mistakes, one of them being this. So you can see it does work, but sometimes that gets it's a bit flimsy. So that's why I added the shape on and done an extra layer of it. The other mistake I made, when you have to, so let me just show you. This goes through here so that you can just see those words, and then that sticks down. But what I done, I stuck down too much of it, so this can't pull up very far, and that's one mistake I made, as well as the actual tab. So I'm going to remember that this time and just stick a little piece down. So that's the first thing you need to do. I might have done it so that it stands out a bit too much, but I'm actually not too worried about that. So you just need a bit of glue on the end. That's it. See, I've only done the tiniest bit. So I'm going to just make sure the word pull and the arrow is showing. Make sure there's even space top and bottom. And then fold it over with the other fold line here. And just stick it down. So the other fold line is there, as you can see. Okay. That's the most important bit. These are just layers. So I am just going to put this mat on. I found some printed quotes that I put inside, just like that. Now when you stick this one down, you need to make sure you don't stick this piece, because obviously it's moving parts. So do around the outside as best you can. Give it room to move, so don't do it close up. It needs its little bit of room. Okay, and then we are just going to stick that down on top. I stamped this background. The stamp I used there was from Pinflair, this one. I love this sort of thing, you see, so that worked really well for me. I also got the words from a matching set, also from Pinflair, and I stamped out the tire marks on this thinner border there. I'm not sure if I'm using that yet, but there we go. Okay, so we've got the base of the card done, so now that moves like that, you can see. Give it a few practices. Make sure you burnish the folds so that they work, they're nice and sharp. So this small one will go on the inside, and then the larger one goes on the outside. I wish I'd chosen different colours now, I wasn't really thinking, because I've used all creams and browns, and then I've got this burst of colour on there. So for this I've just got some separate toppers. I found them on Pixabay because I couldn't find exactly what I wanted. I looked for it and put it together myself. So a road, Route 66, and a man on a motorbike. So, like I said, this one sticks to here, but you want to put the glue on this panel. I probably could have laid that with a bit of brown around the outside as well. I was saying I could do it with a pen, couldn't I? And then this one sticks on there up to the fold. So you're just putting glue on this spine bit here between the two score lines, and then you're putting that there. Make sure you don't go over the fold, because otherwise it won't pull back very nicely. So that's the basic card. So that's how it works. You see, it's opening and shutting a lot easier because I didn't glue it all the way down. So there you go. That's the basics of the flip card. Now you could put, like I said, there's quite a gap here. There was a bigger gap on my Christmas one. You see, I just put some Christmas twine down the two backing papers that I've already used on there. And that's how it works. So this doesn't go as well because I stuck it down too far, which means you can't go as far. Whereas this, you can go a lot further. That's how it will work better. So I'm going to put these on and see if that looks a bit better. So it just gives it an extra little bit. And you could do layers on here if you wanted to. I've just kept it simple, but it might look nice with a matte layer. But that is the basics of the card on it. So that's the second flip flap style card. I've got another one coming up as well because there's so many varieties. I'm going to try and do as many as I can. But there you go. So that's for a man and also Christmas. So I hope that helped. I'd love to see what you can do, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.